Unanswered questions about Jason Voorhees. Number 1.
Is Dr. Wimmer the real villain? And
Number 2.
what's with the facility at Camp Crystal Lake? Believe it or not, the last few films has portrayed Jason as some sort of a anti-hero. In The New Blood, Dr. Cruz took the term villain to a whole new definition. That man was fucking savage. Using a grieving teenager like a science fair project. Then Jason went on a little vacation, Manhattan. He was saving Rennie from thugs in the good old NYC. And Jason goes to HELL, HE hockey sticks, HE hockey slongs. He was absent in his own movie, besides his few cameo spots. And so along came the slasher trope, space. We have Jason in space.
You hear me, you bastard?
This far in the franchise, I have given up on continuity and where this film stands in the timeline, but I will touch on that a little bit, of course. But apart from the random placement of the story, I am a little bit intrigued on how the story came together. So in this universe, let's go back to 2008 with Rowan's statement.
We executed him for the first time in 2008. Nothing worked. Electrocution, gas, firing squad. We even hung him once.
Now we've seen these type of failed executions before. Electrocution, gas, firing squad, and even hung him once. In other words, Jason is one tough son of a bitch. Now the one character that interests me in all this is Dr. Wimmer and Camp Crystal Lake. One thing that's safe to assume is that Camp Crystal Lake is no longer this little campground for summer teenagers to go get some and get slaughtered in the woods. It now has a multi-million-dollar research facility, and I believe Dr. Wimmer has a big hand in that. Matter of fact, I bet that most of Camp Crystal Lake and the surrounding town has been cleared out, paved over, and rebranded, and is now just a testing site for scientists, biologists, and the military. You really gotta wonder if Camp Crystal Lake even exists anymore, or if it's just a name on a classified document now. Now going back to Dr. Wimmer, we know the type. Most likely a super elite billionaire with Chihuahua syndrome.
We've already discussed this.
I had to go over your head. This isn't open for discussion.
Now we only see him briefly, but there are some serious implications here. He plays a bigger role in this story. Wimmer rolls with a full military escort, acts like he owns the place, and talks down to Rowan like she's the fucking janitor. That tells me he's not just a government lackey doctor. Nah, this guy's connected. Because that's not just ego, that's authority. And then he says he's transferred Jason to another facility? That's code for I've already sold him.
I'm moving him to our Scranton facility.
Dr. Wimmer, you can't risk transporting him through open country.
Dr. Wimmer wants a weapon, and Jason is the prototype. He knows about the failed execution attempts, and he still insists on keeping Jason. Why? Because dead monsters don't sell. And make no mistake, Dr. Wimmer wants to sell him to the highest bidder. It could be a private military group, a foreign government, hell, maybe even a bioweapons R&D. You can tell he's already planned this deal too. He overrides Rowan's authority and skips the freezing protocol because he wants Jason soft.
I don't want him frozen, Rowan. I want him soft.
I didn't know you liked Jason like that, Doctor.
Giggity. Oh my god!
That's not scientific jargon. That's a sales pitch. He wants Jason mobile, manageable, and trainable. Like he's preparing him for delivery. So yeah, Jason might be the monster, but Dr. Wimmer is the real threat. Because monsters do kill people, but Dr. Wimmer would unleash him just to cash a check.
And you're willing to risk the deaths of innocent civilians if he escapes.
Yes.
So what do you think? Is Jason still the anti-hero in this film like he was previously? Is Wimmer the real villain? And is Camp Crystal Lake now gone and converted to a research military space?
Everything's under control, man.
Get over here! Number 3.
Is there alien life in 2455? And
Number fucking 4.
And is there a hidden connection to Jason Goes to Hell? I promise these tie together. Bear with me. Hear me out. As cliche as this movie is, I'm actually glad that aliens wasn't part of the story. And no, I'm not counting the VR sequences. But after rewatching this, that's not exactly true. See, as you know by now, I have a habit of looking too much in the backgrounds, too much in the dialogue, and too much in the small hidden details on movies I've seen 1,000 times. This is no different. I actually do that to new movies too. My eyes are always subconsciously scanning the whole frame. That being said, I think this is the only interesting blink and you miss it moment in the entire film. Let's watch.
Whoa. What are those?
These are Janessa's love children.
Now I promise not to get too sci-fi here, but think about it. 400 years into the future, Earth 1 is we can see a glimpse of that right here. And I am a believer that one day this planet won't be able to host a vast majority of the growing population. It's just an hourglass at this point. So on their exploration of Earth 2, they discovered these little critters that we see on the wall. Now here's where things actually get a little bit cool. Most of these aliens can actually be identified, which means Jason X shares a universe with these small little sci-fi movies that most people don't even know about. For example, number 1, this alien is identifiable from A Fiend Without a Face, a 1958 film about a scientist's thoughts that materialize as an army of invisible brain-shaped monsters who terrorize an American military base. Number 2, which is probably the most well-known, is a skeletal hand from the Gilman from The Creature of the Black Lagoon. That's pretty cool. Number 3 and 4, the Venusian alien and the Xanthi Misfit ant, both from The Outer Limit, although both are from separate movies. That's the ones upon my research that I and other people could identify. There are still some identified ones, but I saved the best for last. And this is going to sound like a reach, but hear me out. Look at this creature. Does it look familiar? No? Well, let me show you this image. That's awfully close, isn't it? I'll show a better angle right here so that we can try to properly compare the two. Now this is nearly a perfect match, but if we colorize it, it's uncanny. I'll do the liberties right here and post editing and show you the major difference a color makes. Here is the before and after. Look at the shape of the eyes, the 2 nostrils, the exact layout of the teeth, the long ones, the short ones in the back. It even has the same vein on the forehead. I can't be convinced this isn't a reference to Jason Goes to Hell. Take in mind at the time Jason Goes to Hell was the previous film, but I won't backtrack on that too much, and canonically we have to talk about Freddy vs. Jason first, but we'll get there when we get there. If that's not enough to convince you there's at least one reference to Jason Goes to Hell in this, let's talk about the opening sequence. For the first time we actually get a glimpse inside Jason Voorhees' mind. Literally. It's a pure hellscape built of blood, bones, fire, chains, brimstone, old castles, abandoned buildings, trenches. Again, this is hell. This is Jason's hellscape that you see in the opening credits before it transitions into his DNA. So the movie is telling you that hell is part of his DNA. Is this perhaps a reference to Jason literally going to hell? Is this a residual memory of Jason going to hell? A memory from his time there? This is hell inside Jason's mind. Another cool aspect about this is that you can hear these weird ass voices in Jason's head. I hear voices in my head. I'll play that audio for you here. I have separated the vocals from the music. There's no point in trying to pinpoint where this fits in the timeline, but Jason Goes to Hell is definitely referenced in this film. There's too much to be coincidence. The hell opening, the voices in his head, hell being part of his DNA, hell being a memory of Jason, even the hell worm creature. If you want it logical, there's nothing logical about these films anymore. Maybe the supernatural elements of Camp Crystal Lake doesn't exist anymore. If you think about it, everything was excavated, dug up. Maybe they discovered some of these hell worms, and the supernatural aspect of Camp Crystal Lake died with Earth 1. So maybe the supernatural did die with Earth 1, because there's legit nothing left. So what do you think? The hell worm, the shared hidden universes with the other alien life forms that you see in the background. The opening hell sequence. I know it's majorly overlooked, but is it really a hidden connection? You decide. Number 5, rapid fire round. What are the rules of this VR game? This device is for playing the game, but evidently Jason doesn't meet that requirement. He don't need shit. He can kill them aliens without it.
We executed him for the first time. We tried everything. Nothing worked.
You tried everything to kill Jason? What about blowing him to smithereens? It worked last time. I never knew Jason took safety so seriously. While he's electrocuting old dude, you can actually see he took the time to put on some safety goggles underneath his hockey mask. I've watched this film a lot of times, and I've never noticed that until now. So we ain't gonna talk about how you cut these straps and they magically reappear. We ain't gonna talk about how she has no gloves here, but then they reappear. What the fuck is going on? Huh, I didn't know Jason had a beard. Kinda suits him. Number 6. Did Microsoft and Apple cause a world war? And number 7. And do people still die? This one is a huge revelation. Check out what Lou says right here.
Lucky you weren't alive during the Microsoft conflict. Hell, we were beating each other with our own severed limbs.
Microsoft conflict? Beating each other with their own severed limbs? Something tells me Lou has already had experience with this nano-ant technology before and reattached his said limbs. Now originally, I thought this was a reference of the real life conflict back in the early 2000s with Microsoft. Since Microsoft was a mega monopoly back then, owning nearly 97 to 98% of the whole PC market, which is insane. But based off what the professor and Perez said,
400 years old, walking around. Who gives a shit?
She's nearly twice as old as anyone on the planet.
250, 450. What's the difference?
there's no way this happened on Earth 1. Plus, I don't see these people being that old to make that logical. So according to their conversation, I do believe that people age normally, and the oldest people on Earth 2 was previously frozen. Cryogenically, I guess. So what did Microsoft do to spark this very violent outrage? Did they not remaster the Halo series?
I'll cut off your nutsack and nail it to my door!
I'd be that mad too. Halo for life. Jokes aside, I have a pretty solid theory about this. Perhaps Microsoft wanted to be involved in the new nano-ant technology, but it looks as if they lost to Apple. No, I'm not kidding. This is a screenshot from the film right here. I'll even play the clip right here in slow motion. This takes place right before Jason gets turned into Uber Jason. So Apple won the bidding war, and Microsoft stocks plummeted, and millions of people lost out on money. And this is what birthed the very violent incident, maybe even a full-fledged war. Whatever happened, it seemed like Microsoft fell the f off, and people got extremely hurt. Which brings me to my next question. Do people still die? By murder, yes. But if they have the technology to reattach limbs, wake up the previously dead, if the criteria is met and the body is pretty well preserved, could you imagine? If Earth 1 couldn't sustain life for people who could die, just imagine the accelerated rate that Earth 2 is going to diminish. If nano-ants can medically cure these things, no need for doctors, right? What's the point of going to war? If you have all the body parts, blown to shit or not, you can just reattach them and go back to war to die tomorrow. And what about population control if no one ever dies? Now, people in this movie still get their groove on. Get your groove on! As seen by the couple here. The thought of a robot girlfriend is still taboo.
And this KM-14, Sunneron's little love bot.
Easy, Janessa.
So maybe their society isn't that advanced yet, and they put heavy restrictions on the technology. But we know where that's heading. What a crazy world Earth 2 would be. But it all starts with the original question. Did Microsoft and Apple start a war over the nano-ant technology?
Number 8.
Do all of his students pass his class like this?
Harder.
Come on!
You pass!
Would Rowan? Nah, she would beat that ass. How about Blondie? Yeah, you give her about 5 White Claws and she's gone. She's down. DTF. This girl right here, this chick, yeah, she got daddy issues. She's down. KM? Hell, I guess you could program her too.
Yeah.
Brodsky? Nah, Brodsky beat the... He would beat the brakes. Fuck. Oh, man. That's messed up. The last two-part question here.
Number 9.
Will Rowan become the Sarah Connor of Earth 2?
Number 10.
And will her and Jason cross paths one more time? Let's really think about this ending. And I mean really think about it. I know it's ambiguous, but we all know Jason isn't dead. We know that. If he can survive everything the military threw at him, the firing squad, the hanging, electrocution, the gas, the bitch slap in the face, etc., on a normal day for Jason Voorhees, I don't think a little fire in this crash landing is going to do much to Super Saiyan Jason. He crashes into that new pristine lake where the two teenagers are at, stargazing, trying to get some about to blow that back out. And just like that, the cycle starts again. A whole new planet, a brand new territory to claim, a newly rebranded Camp Crystal Lake. Now you may think this ending is pretty simple, but I think the opposite. Because here's the next twist. Rowan is still alive. You're probably thinking, no shit, dude. But let's break down the only possibility of the future of Earth 2. So at this point, Rowan is not just the final girl. She's the only person who knows the truth. Not just about Jason's history, but about his biology. Rowan has studied him. Physically studied him, his DNA. What makes him tick? What works? What don't? She has seen every failed execution method. Bullets, fire, acid, electrocution, freezing, the whole damn checklist. And while everybody else on Earth 2 is still trying to figure out what the fuck a hockey mask is,
Can someone tell me what's on his face?
It's a hockey mask.
What's a hockey mask?
Rowan's already seen it. The past. This future. That makes her dangerous. That makes her the key. She's the one who's going to write the playbook. Most likely, Earth 2 isn't going to have this documentation of a random serial killer down in New Jersey over 400 years ago that happened on another planet. So to them, there is no Jason Voorhees. There is no Camp Crystal Lake, no Voorhees legacy, no body count history. To them, it's just a meteor crash. Until heads start literally rolling. Perez knew, but he's dead. Remember this? Because Solaris got blew the fuck up. So Jason's now the upgraded killer machine. He's Uber Jason now. Stronger. Built like a tank. But Rowan is the resistance. She's the Sarah Connor of this new world. The only one who knows the past. Understands this monster. The only one who can train and educate this generation and the next generation to survive against Jason. I do picture this being Terminator-esque. Just with one solid enemy. Because perhaps Jason's mask did burn off, but I don't think his metal body burned up. Because Jason's now bulletproof, fireproof, probably has some major resistance towards bombs and such. Earth 2 has never faced anything like Jason, especially this Super Saiyan Uber Jason. So when Jason rises from that lake again, Earth 2 is in a world of trouble. And only one person holds the key to knowledge, and that's Rowan. Rowan is the last living blueprint of how to fight Jason Voorhees. Jason's already on Earth 2. Rowan, KM, and the robot simp is on the way there. And I'm sure they're going to try to find Broski, if anything's left of him, the crash site. But what are they going to find? This motherfucker right here. And I imagine with her help, she's not running this time. This time, she's the resistance. So what do you guys think? Will Rowan become that leader? And will Jason and her cross paths one more time? Announcement before I end this video. I did a poll, and you guys voted. Majority rules. So I will be doing the 2009 remake next. That being said, if you have any theories that hold some weight, feel free to drop it down in the Discord. This is completely free, it's just a hangout spot. If I really like your theory and it's got a lot of weight behind it, I will credit you in the video. Feel free to participate, this isn't just for me. It's for all of us. And don't feel obligated, but you can also join the YouTube membership, where you would get exclusive weekly videos. I do monthly giveaways. This month I will be giving away this vintage 1993 Shivers magazine issue number 6. Where they talk about Jason Goes to Hell. There's some very interesting information about this piece of shit movie. You can see a sneak preview of this right here, where it has exclusive interviews from the director where they do a Q&A. And I must say, if you're interested in the bullshit they try to sell to promote this movie, I'm about to do a YouTube short on it. So be on the lookout for that. That being said, thank you guys so much for taking part of your day to kick with me. You know I appreciate it. Until next time, where I'll see you in the 2009 remake. I love you all. I appreciate you. Adios.